Every single one of us is born with a gift. Every single one of us has a unique thread that makes us who we are. How do you show up in every boardroom, every Zoom, every meeting room, at the school gates, any time in your life? How do you make sure that you're bringing yourself with you? How do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you today on this video how you can really start to show up authentically. The first step is you have to decide. You have to decide that I'm always going to lean into who I am, because there's nothing worse than when you leave a conversation when you feel like I wasn't completely me, or when you twist yourself in knots trying to fit into a box. All of those times when you actually act inauthentic to who you are, it leaves a mark on you. It makes you start to think that maybe I wasn't being myself, and that's where you can get where you feel like you're being an imposter. There's nothing worse than feeling like when you leave a conversation, I didn't bring me to the table. And sometimes we don't show up authentically because we don't want to give too much of who we are. We're scared that people won't like us. In my case, maybe she's too much, maybe she's too loud. So many reasons why you've got to take action. Maybe she's too overconfident, or maybe what she has to say isn't valuable or worthy. And none of us want to feel like we're not valuable and that we're not seen, that what we have to say doesn't matter. So sometimes what we do is, instead of leaning in, we lean right back like this. I don't want you to lean back. I want you to lean into who you are. I want you to turn up and show up being you and who you are right now in this moment. Start where you are with what you have. How many times have you heard that idea of start where you are with what you have? That takes courage, that takes guts. It takes guts to show up as you. And how you do that is making sure the first thing is that you decide in advance. Say today, do you know what? Wherever I am, wherever I go, I'm gonna bring me with me. Wherever I go, I'm always gonna bring me. I'm gonna make sure that I show the world who I am. And do you know what that does? It builds better connections, builds better relationships. It means that it takes away some of the energy that you normally would carry with you. Because when you're trying to be somebody else, when you're holding yourself back from who you are, what you're doing is you're suppressing yourself. You're suppressing your personality, you're suppressing your emotions, and that can only lead to you never actually living up and showing up authentically and stepping into who you're meant to be. So for me, as somebody who helps many women, many men get to a place where they actually feel like they can show up, first of all, you have to decide. So step one, decide in advance, this is who I'm gonna be. And what you can do is you can do things like visualize yourself performing at your very best. Visualize how you're gonna respond to any difficult situation. Visualize who you wanna be in certain situations. And also what you can do is make sure that your values are totally connected. When you know who you are, you know what you believe, you know what you stand for, then what you can say is, do you know what? I'm gonna decide in advance that I'm gonna always show up as me. That takes effort, that takes guts. And sometimes you have to talk to yourself and say, come on now, you can do it. You have to start to become your own cheerleader. So how do you show up authentically? First thing, decide. Second thing, do it. Whenever you're in an uncomfortable situation where everything in your mind is screaming at you, don't speak up, don't share, don't lean in, they're the moments when you have to shake it off. You gotta shake it off. Who likes that Mariah Carey song? You gotta shake it off. I love that song. You gotta shake it off, and you've got to say, actually, I'm gonna stand here as I am. And sometimes it means vulnerability, sometimes it means you're exposed. But the thing is if you do it enough, you'll start to get more comfortable doing it. And then when it really matters, instead of you having like an emotional overwhelm, you'll say, I decided in advance that I'm going to show up as me. This is an opportunity for me to show up. And when you adopt this personality, what happens is, the moment comes, it's happened so many times to me, the moment comes when I am at a crossroads. It's basically, I can see that the next step is going to be me stepping into my power. And I can either decide, am I going to step into my power, or I'm going to stay where I am, or am I going to lean back? But what I want you to get, you know that song? Lean back, lean back, lean back. Lots of music's coming to my mind right now. I want you to decide in advance when you're at that crossroad, you're not going to lean back. You're not even going to stay where you are. You're going to lean in. And the thing is, many people don't feel comfortable leaning in because it's the same idea as the giraffes. You know, you're lifting your head up so everyone can see you, and there's the fear that it's going to get chopped off. Well, you're never going to know unless you step up, step out, show up, lean in. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.